All right. What'd you think of that intro, Shane?
That's pretty cool and pretty gangster.
Pretty gangster. Yeah, big shout out to Jules. Jules is actually a host on the show. He hadn't been on here for a while. He got a new job at the hospital, so he's been working,
Okay.
his butt off. But he's a genius when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, man. But anyway, listen, we are live, Shane and Mags. Dude, welcome to the podcast. What an honor to have you on.
Oh, the honor's all mine. Like, I love it. Thank you very much for the invitation and stuff. It's privilege to be here. I've seen a few of your podcasts and seen some of the guys and gals that get on these podcasts. So it's I'm extremely honored. So for the invite.
Yeah. So. Listen, the honor's all mine. Like I said, absolutely the honor's all mine. But yeah, so we already got a couple comments coming in here. My buddy Kemper says the show, so I got the nickname the show.
Okay.
I got some people that call me that. That's not a nickname I come up with. Andy, he actually come up with the nickname. So yeah, it just kind of I guess it just stuck with me and I roll with it, right? So
the show.
Yeah, absolutely. The show. And then of course we got my man Eli Block in the house. He said, "Yo, Shane, what's good, bro?"
Go.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
I've got my mum actually trying to call me in the background right now through Messenger and stuff. So I think she might be trying to join the podcast and asking questions on how to get on because she's not too technical, technology savvy. Here she goes. Hey there, what time is a podcast in Oz? Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, just tell her it's live right now. She can go on YouTube
live right now.
Yeah, on Pin to Gas or Facebook on Pin to Gas, and yeah, she can watch it live with us, which would be absolutely awesome. It won't be the first time. Actually, I had Finn Whedon on, and his mom was in the background. I was like, man, bring your mom on camera. Like, I love to get the whole family aspect and everybody involved. But yeah, listen, Shane, bro, let's start from the very beginning. Tell us how you got into motorcycles to begin with.
It's I don't know, like I only kind of really got into racing in the last sort of 9-10 years ago, I think it was, when I was like a little tacker. I think I got a little Pee-wee 50 for my 5th birthday. And then, my parents went through a divorce and I, no longer had a motorcycle and stuff like that. So I rode it through a few bikes, through my teenage years. One of my buddies, we might have had like a little RM 125 or, the old bikes and stuff, that I used to jump on here and there. But I never really got it. I always had ambition, like to get my motorcycle license. And I think I was 29, 30, and I finally got it. Got my first little Ninja 250, because over in Australia you have to be on a learner bike.
Yeah.
So I got a little Ninja 250. It was the last of that kind in 2012. So I got my license and then had that for about 6 months riding on the roads. And my buddy invited me down for a track day down at Phillip Island down in Victoria, Australia. And that was where it pretty much took off. I saw him race and I was like, yeah, I want to do that. So I hauled my little Ninja 250. I think it got up to like not even 100 mile an hour down the straight of Phillip Island. But towards the end of the day, my friend Peter Mitchell, I don't know if he's going to be watching, but he had a Suzuki GSXR 600 at the stage, and he said, all right, have a go on a real bike now. So I went on the last session of the day, and I was like, he happened to be selling that bike. I bought it, and the next year I found myself racing in the Hartwell Motorcycle Championship over in it's a local racing organisation in Victoria, Australia. And I went from there. So I just progressed, and I raced in the state championships a couple of years back home in Australia. And then just before I moved over to the US in 2016, I bought Braden Elliott. He races in the BSB. I bought his championship winning bike. I think it was a 2015. I bought that, and then I raced that for, I think, three ASBK rounds. One at Phillip Island, one in that Sydney Motorsport Park, and one at I think it was Winton. I think and Mac Park as well. So no, it wasn't Mac Park. It was Wakefield Park. So, and then I got on a plane and relocated over to the US. I went and lived in LA for 2.5 years, and I kind of, for the rest of that 2016 season, I wasn't racing or anything. So I had no setup or anything, no garages. I was living in a condo in downtown Los Angeles. So I made I decided to race in 2017. So I was flying back home to Australia for the state champion, the Victorian state titles. And I used to literally fly out on a Wednesday night out of LA, get in there at Thursday morning, go pick up my bike, go to the track, practice Friday, race Saturday, Sunday, then get back on a plane to come back to LA on the Monday morning. So I did that for 4 or 5 rounds, and it was a good championship. There was a quick guy there named Ryan Taylor. He was always like the state champion, and it came down to the last round and that year, and we're only separated by a few points, and he my engine blew, but he probably would have taken that championship because he was just unstoppable and unbeatable at the track we were racing at. So yeah, my engine blew that race weekend, and then I kind of had a couple of years off racing. I was going to I went and caught up with Dave Anthony at Chuckwalla one round. Oh no, it was like a pre-season because I just wanted to see if I wanted to do a bit of a Moto America season, and I went out there for a race weekend, had a couple of practices on his Kawasaki 1000, and I think the first race I was following and tagging behind a couple of guys, and 2 guys crashed in front of me, and as I tipped into that corner, I got washed out. And I think that was God telling me, it's like, hey, no, I kind of want you to have a bit of a breather off racing for a couple of years. So did that, and then it was pretty much until I moved out to Nashville, Tennessee, back in 2019. I got a car, bought a motorcycle, and I bought actually Billy Etheridge's 2014 Gixxer 1000, and that was one of the best bikes I had. It was probably the best bike he'd ever say that he ever had as well. So it was a beautiful bike and a good bike because it didn't have any of these electronics and stuff like that the bikes have today. So I had to learn how to ride 1000 without all those traction control, and so that was it. I entered the WERA Novice Championship, and I ended up taking that championship in the first year, and that was exciting. But especially being on 1000 for the first time, and then I had ambition to go and race Moto America. But the following year, I kind of got taken out by another rider the very first round of the year. So that put me a setback. I was out injured for a couple of months, and in the following year, I decided to try and do the same, and kind of hit someone's oil going into one of the corners off throttle, and sent me to the moon, and over 100 miles an hour, and that destroyed that bike. So came up to this year, really. This is a bit of a long story, but we finally get there. But over the last 3 years, I've been racing for an endurance team, Motodrone Racing, who is the owners is Kyle Brosius and Ryan Kraft. They're 2 guys that live. One lives up in West Virginia or Virginia, Pennsylvania, and then the other one lives in Ohio and stuff. So they invited me to the Roebling. I think it was the first endurance race about 3.5 years ago, and I rode for them, and I just stuck loyal with them over the last few years, and it's been great. I just show up and ride, and they're a great bunch of guys and gals, and we've got a good team. We've had some good riders. We've had Jamie Star racing with us for a few of those years. Matthew Patica, had Gary Yankowski, and we had Jackson Blackman. He raced for us a couple of rounds last year, and But we're all set up for this year, and it was probably about halfway through last year. I wasn't riding my bike because at the beginning of the year, my motorcycle decided to blow its last engine on the dyno. So that was the 1000cc, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to ride the endurance for the beginning of the year, and we'll see where it takes me. And then the guys at Motordrome Racing, they said, you need to buy a 600. And Robbie Rignaldo, I'm not too sure if you're familiar with Robbie, but he had his 2018 Yamaha R6 for sale, and I've always been a Suzuki man. So I was like, it's kind of a bit of a curse word, when we talk about Yamaha around the pits, especially being always Suzuki and stuff growing up, and my first bike, and
but there's always that one beautiful girl, that you got your eye on. You're like, man.
Oh yeah, they're those Ducatis, but I'll probably never get my hands on one of those. They're absolutely too gorgeous for me, but ultimately, they used to say, look, you need to have fun again. Like over the last couple of years, it's, spent a lot of money, invested a lot of time, energy into this 1000cc project. I went through 3 or 4 engines, and I just wasn't enjoying it, and I'm at an age now, it's just like, I need to have fun. I need to enjoy it, love life, and enjoy what I did. And, so they kind of poked me in the right direction, and I bought Robbie's R6, and throughout towards the end of the year, we were going, just learning that, and come up to the GNF last year, and I was finally starting to get quick on it, and we had kind of ambition, at the end of that year last year, and they said, let's do the Daytona 200. So we put our heads down, and it's been a long 4 or 5 months, putting the program together, literally driving everywhere around. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. Ryan Kraft, who pretty much this guy is absolute, I'm so blessed to have him in my life, because he has literally done everything on that bike. From we pulled it all apart, all the way down to the very last, nut and bolt. We took the engine up to our engine builder up at Niagara Power Sports with NPS Racing Engines. Will up there, he pulled the engine apart and rebuilt it and built it to Moto America specs. And then I went up, drove it, picked it up in Niagara, drove it back to Ohio. We fitted it. We went through the bike from top to bottom, back to front, inside and out, and it's there was just like a lot of process. Then going through the licensing, registration through Moto America, going through the application forms and medical and everything, and then finally being able to register for my first race. And then we went out to do some testing, and it's always a worry. You put so much effort and energy into sort of like the program, and you're like, oh, what if we get to the track and something happens? And Ryan is the warrior. Like, he always worries about anything. He's like, about, engine, anything with the bike and stuff. So he was sort of like protecting that like his baby. So when we went down to Roebling, probably about a month ago for the first sort of like shakeout, once the bike was all back together, and straight off the bat, I was doing like PBs down there, and I kept on saying, oh, all right, I'm going to go for another PB. And he's like, no, you're not. It just reminds me of that whole Cold Trickle, when he's on the radio, he's like, I'm going to drop it a hammer. And the team radio goes, no, you're not. And he drops it straight. That was me. But so it's always been one thing. We did the test shakeout down at Roebling. We then I went up to Talladega just to have another like day just to get time on the bike and seat time. And then I was very, very fortunate and blessed to be invited by Corey Maynard at Dunlop to go and do the Dunlop test last Monday before the Daytona 200. So I went down there just to more so like, because I run good speed down at Roebling, but I wanted to see what the big guys are doing. Like, Heron was there. Loris Baz was there, Ty Scott, all the Moto America, professional riders were there. And I just wanted to see, where I compared and where I stood, and especially the bike as well, especially going down the straight. And it was good. It was just a great opportunity to be on the field or on the racetrack with those caliber of riders. So, but yeah, it came to Daytona, and that's where we are now. So that was a long-winded story. I'm sure everyone's probably fallen asleep back home wherever they are right now, or just annoyed with my accent. But that's where I'm at.
No, absolutely not. I loved it. It's an epic story. Listen, everybody's got their own journey, right? And that's one thing I love. And that's just like everybody's got their own personality, their likes and their dislikes, but everybody's individual story, especially in racing, is just absolutely phenomenal, right? Some people get started later in life as yourself. Troy Bayliss is another one, right? And people, some are fortunate enough where they get raised by a dad that's just an absolute fruitcake like me, that just wants to live the dream and see everybody succeed. But man, I don't even know where to begin. You told me so much information. I'm coming with all these questions in my head at the same time. So I want to take it back. So here in America, like when you turn 16 years old, like you can just go out and buy a Gixxer 1000 or Hayabusa or whatever, right? We have no restrictions on that. Yeah. So in Australia, when you said you got to start on a learner bike, right? Is it capped at a certain CCs?
Yeah, I think you can get a 600, but it's got to be at a certain. It's got to have like a governor, they called them. They couldn't have restricted the RPM range or something like that to a certain. So I didn't know really anything about bikes, so I just bought a little Ninja 250. It was that last of the kind, and you can get them when you're 16. I think, and that's. Where you can ride by yourself, I think, for about 9, or it might be about a year, I think so, before you can go and get your probationary license as a motorcycle. But a little bit different here. Like it was when I got to the US, I had to go through my driver's license and my motorcycle license like I'd never owned a car, touched a car, been in a car before, and that was nerve-wracking. So in LA, and making sure my hands were at 10 to 2 and making sure, it was a big learning curve. But one thing I found that was really, really surprising is just like I wanted to rent. I didn't have a motorcycle at the time. I said, hey, called up motorcycle shops and stuff to see if they rented them out. And they said, oh, yeah, you don't need to, rent a proper motorcycle. You can do your motorcycle license on a scooter. And I'm like, what? So I rented a scooter, did my motorcycle license because it was only $30 or $40 to rent it for an hour versus $50 or $60 for another motorcycle. So don't judge me out there. Like I got my motorcycle license in America on a scooter. It just doesn't. I don't understand that. You can do that, and then you can go and buy the Hayabusas then too. Like I can't fathom, but it is what it is.
It is. It's crazy. It's America. We love it, right? But to me, it's also a double-edged sword, right? That's why our insurance is so high on motorcycles too, as well. So, but yeah. So, going back to Phillip Island, dude. Phillip Island's always been one of my favorite racetracks. Obviously, Cadwell Park, everybody knows, is my absolute number one racetrack in the world. But I do like Phillip Island. It's had a lot of magical. It's just a magical place. It's one of those right next to the sea. It's great racing. What's it like to ride Phillip Island compared to our tracks here in America? How do they stack up?
People ask that because they're like, oh, you're riding, Phillip Island. And to be honest, like my favorite tracks are over here. Like I like Phillip Island, but and some people do, but like I love the fast and flowiness of it. But it's only the 12 corners. I don't know. Like I prefer something a little bit more technical, but still fast and flowing and stuff. So, but nothing beats it when you're coming around turn 12 and the bike's shaking out and you're just seeing nothing but sea in front, in front of you in the ocean. And it's just like, wow, this is. You go underneath the big Melbourne banner and stuff. It's pretty cool. And then come around, to Stoner Corner and stuff like that, and you just see. Well, I never really did it because I was on 600, but you see some of the Superbike, the MotoGP guys, Marc Marquez sliding their rear tire around there, and it's just that's what I like. I actually like watching the MotoGP down there, but riding, it's a good track. It was good. It was my first track that I ever rode on, but there are so many tracks out here that I prefer, a lot better. Like, I love Pittsburgh. I enjoy Roebling because it's fast and flowing. Daytona was another beast. It was another animal in itself. But Barber is very, very like one of my fun, most fun tracks because it's technical. Atlanta is good with the high speed and still technical aspects. So there are so many great tracks around. It's just, I'd love to ride them all. I do have like a dream one day to maybe go and ride, Portimao or something over in Portugal. That would be pretty cool. Just seeing like the roller coaster. There's some amazing tracks around the world, but definitely Phillip Island. It's a good one that I've been very, very blessed to ride. So.
Absolutely. Phillip Island's it's magical. Like you said, Lukey Heights. Who can ever forget Andrea Annoni headbutting a seagull coming down Lukey Heights, right? I mean, come on, man. That's absolutely proper. Yeah, dude, that's good stuff. So what brought you to America, Shane? What made you say, you know what? I'm out.
Well, next question.
Okay. Next question. No.
I was married to an American girl. We were living in Australia, and then we moved over. We were living in Australia for 8 years, and then she wanted to move back. We moved back, and that kind of ended and fizzled out and stuff. So I decided to stay. I had a great opportunity, when we did relocate to join the company that I work for now, who is an Australian-based company. It's called Lendlease. We're a sort of like a global construction company. We're a development company. We're an investment company. And I was on high-rise construction. Believe it or not, I race motorcycles, but I run safety programs. So that's people always question me about, I'm working on job sites, talking about safety, and they always, throw it in my face and say, hey, Shane, you ride motorcycles 170, 180 mile an hour, yet you're trying to tell us about safety. And so it's, I just always come back to them and I say, look, I'm good at assessing risk, I make sure I'm wearing the good quality equipment, I make sure that I'm wearing a good quality helmet. Arai, I'm giving you a shout out there. Flynex, suits and stuff, I wear good quality, leathers and stuff to protect me if I do, because it's inevitable. We do crash. I've crashed multiple times from anything from 20 or 30 miles an hour up over 100 mile an hour. One of my biggest crashes was at the hay shed at Phillip Island, losing the front and stuff. And when you crash at the hay shed, your bike becomes a part of the shed. Right. It gets cartwheeled and turned, and it's no longer. But it's inevitable that we crash, so we want to make sure our equipment, people will probably testify that I do maintain my equipment, whether it's the bike underneath me, the brakes, the oil maintenance comes down to it. And I always remind the workers on the site when they're doing their daily inspection checklist of machinery and equipment, we need to make sure our equipment and our machinery is fit for purpose. So, and it's where it comes back to when I'm riding it, I need to make sure I can brake at 180 miles an hour, and, I don't bother, yes, tires, they sometimes get, they get expensive and stuff, part of the bill, but I'd rather throw a brand new tire on for a race rather than run that what if, and then something happens, and then, for the sake of a tire for, $150, $180 for a front tire and $250, $260 on a rear tire and stuff. You have a crash, you got fairing damage, and that's already at least $500, and you're lucky there if you to escape that or a handlebar and stuff. So there's always going to be more excess damage to any bike in any crash. So I just weigh that risk up and just say, okay, I'd rather invest the money there to know that I don't have to question it later. So
yeah, no, absolutely. And I always tell people when I get asked that question, are motorcycles dangerous? I say it's the most freedom I've ever felt in my life, and I feel the most alive when I throw my leg over two wheels. There's no other feeling like it in the world. It's just like anything, right? You're willing to take a risk for something you really, really enjoy doing, no matter what it is. No matter if skydiving, free rock climbing, base jumping, whatever it is, you accept the risks that come along with it, and with that, you don't even think about it. You're like, dude, I'm living, I'm having fun. forget the risk. And if it happens, you know what? I'm going to jump back out the plane again, right? I mean,
absolutely. And we're in a controlled environment around the racetrack, you know, like I could go and race on the streets and stuff, and that like, you know, Isle Man TT or just racing, you know, around the canyons, that goes to that next level, you know, to be able to do that. But we're in a controlled environment, you know. We got corner workers, we got the medical staff on hand, you know. We're all going the same way most of the time.
Most of the time, right?
We don't have to worry about kids running onto the road. We don't have to worry about other vehicles, you know, like, you know, coming onto the actual track and stuff, you know. So we're all going the same way. We're all, you know, we're all adrenaline junkies. We love the speed. We love, you know, just I don't know, like I just don't have that fear either, you know. Like that's the only thing that sort of like brings me alive is when I'm, you know, just on the bike and just, yeah, I love it.
It's nothing like it. Absolutely not. I absolutely enjoy it. I even ride when it's super cold out sometimes. You're like, it's freezing. I'll throw on my gear, even if it's like a quick 20-minute stint down the street or whatever it is. It's just that smile. Nothing makes you smile like that. Freedom, that feeling. It's hard to explain to people that don't get it, right? And I'm sure it's the same way as other sports or activities that people do, where me and you look at them and go, these guys are freaking nuts, right? And it's the same thing. Like TT, for instance, you just said it. It's my favorite race of the year. But when I look at them, I'm like, man, these guys are just, it's not even that they're nuts. They're just different, right? They're just, their brain's different. They're just absolute legends. All you guys are, even you, Shane, at race, dude, absolute legends. Absolutely. But listen, we have a couple comments coming in here. So we got my man Craig O'Harris from the UK. Okay. He says, hey, I finally got the live notification when I had my phone in my hand. And then Ella, I know you know Elaine, I'm sorry, Mag, she said, I'm so proud of you. Right? Absolutely. That's your mama? Hi, mama. Absolutely. That's awesome. And then Tate said, hey, guys, nice work at Daytona, mate.
Is that Tate Carmody?
Yep, Tate Carmody.
Yeah, he's one of you know, the guys that support me and has supported me in my racing career in the America with 64 degree racing. So he does a lot with the you know, the one piece you know, compression suits, and I got one made up, but pretty much is identical to, you know, to what you see on my t-shirt and on my pit crew shirts and stuff. And Tate is a great guy, great man. So.
Big shout out to Tate, man. Absolutely. And then we got Paul Pendergrass. I hope I said that right. Yeah. He says, go Shane, righto.
Yeah. Paul is an absolute legend. He helped me out. Yeah, and this is the, you know, the community and the family that is created. You know, like my family's back home in Australia, and you know, I've kind of created like a racing family, you know, here. You know, there are so many people like I said, Ryan and Kyle and Tracy, who are part of the endurance team. And then, you know, Joe and Deb Fisher, who are, you know, we're officials. They live in my backyard up, you know, only 30 minutes away from me, where I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And then, you know, people like, you know, Jamie and Matt and, you know, Paul, you know, like when we're around the pits and stuff, you know, like there are so many people out there willing to give you a hand. Like, I'm not very, you know, like mechanically minded. Like I grew up, my pop, he was a mechanic and stuff. So on school holidays, he would always put me in his workshop and working on things, you know, building transmissions. But I don't have that love and that passion for, you know, building and can comprehend sort of how mechanically and, you know, an engine works and a transmission works and stuff like that. I can ride a bike and stuff, you know, but for some reason I can't, you know. But having people around there who have that passion, like, you know, Paul's one of them, Ryan's one, you know, there's so many people that are just love motorcycles, know everything about how to do things and how things operate. It's just like, that's an art. That is an art and a talent, you know, and I just take my hat to everyone. And it comes back to where I was just going with that. It's just like the whole, you know, we're a race series and stuff that I race in. Even, you know, I saw it last week at Moto America and stuff. Just, it's such a big industry, you know, throughout the whole world, whether it's, you know, you're racing in Europe but it's a small community as well. You know, everyone will help out, and they'll start twisting those spanners and wrenches and helping you out wherever you need parts and stuff throughout the pits. And there's, you know, microphone call outs for, hey, this person needs this part, and everyone comes together. And then it's just the the camaraderie, being around in the the paddocks and stuff, and enjoying food and a few drinks at the end of the races and enjoying each other's company. That's what makes it, like the family aspect of the whole racing. That's what I love.
It's like the adult Disneyland, right? Disney World, but for two wheels. It's absolutely amazing. You're right, and and I talk about our commodity all the time in road racing.
Yep.
There's nothing like it, So we could be competitors, and you'd be like, "Shit, I need a 40-tooth, rear sprocket. I have the same bike. Hey, man, you got an extra one? Absolutely, I do. Here you go. And you might even kick my butt, right? But that don't even matter, because you're out there, you're doing your thing, and I had a part to play in it, and it's I wonder if other sports are like that. I'm pretty sure maybe some of them are, but
I
don't know.
I don't know. Like once you get to that competitive level, I don't think your top teams are going to be. But then again, like saying that, I was competing against Dave Anthony on the weekend, and I needed some fuel because VP didn't have my allocated fuel on hand. They didn't have it available, and I just reached out to Dave, and he gave me a drum of the Moto Spec fuel, and it's just like, wow, I'm competing against that guy, and yes, he's, a superbike, legend in Moto America, and he's going to lend me, some of his fuel. It's what we do. We help out, and yes, we might be faster than other people and stuff, but it brings it together even closer. So
it does. It speaks a lot about our characters in the paddock. Absolutely, it does. That we're willing to give you the shirt off our back, even if it's our last one. Here you go. Yeah, absolutely. And then so we have my buddy, man, Chris Lewis out there in the UK. He says, "Hey, Chris and Shane, how's it going?"
How's it going?
Mate, absolutely going good. It's and then my man Chris Parrish, he races too.
Yeah.
He says, "America, damn it." That's right. Absolutely right. Yeah. Us Americans, right?
So is that Chris from Ghetto Customs?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So Chris, he does all my paint work on all my on my body work, and so my bike is looking pretty good. I'm going to give the full design credit to Epic Superbike Designs with Justin, but Chris has been repairing my bodywork for a long time. He's been, he's unbelievable with all that sort of stuff. I just hand him the fairings, and he's like, "Oh, really? We're repairing these same fairings again?" and he does a tremendous job. And even his, you just see, and he's creating new bodywork for there was there's the SVs or the the R7s, and you're like, wow, this guy is artistic, he's creative, to be able to actually have that mindset, to be able to know how that all forms together, but Chris, you're a legend, man. Thank you for everything you do for me. So.
Absolutely, Chris Parrish is a legend. So I'm a lot like you, right? I wouldn't know how to do my repair on body work. Has anybody got a drill bit and some zip ties? Right? Yeah. Right, 200-mile-an-hour duct tape. I need zip ties. Yeah, absolutely, and some stickers. So I could throw some more stickers over it. Yeah, 400-mile-an-hour stickers. So. We have a question too from Chris Lewis again, mate. What is up? He says, "Did you watch the MotoGP race from this weekend?" But Shane, I did, but Shane did not. So yeah. So we won't talk nothing about GP race right now, Moto 2 or Moto 3. But yeah, it's a cracker, absolutely. But and then we got my man Craig O'Harris again. He actually has a question for you, Shane. He says, "Chris, can you ask what's the best road trip he's done on a bike, whether it be a 20-minute blast on some twisties or days of riding?"
I think it would have to be, I was in LA. I woke up one morning, and I'm very spontaneous. Just like, what am I going to do today? So I decided to look up on like some things that were going on around the area, around the local areas, and I saw that there was good old Bon Jovi playing in Vegas. So I decided to get on my bike and take a quick trip out to Vegas, and it was riding in the middle of sort of like the desert and stuff. I was going some speeds I kind of regret these days, because honestly, like on the road, like if something was to happen, I'd probably
be here.
be there, or I could have been arrested. So like I made some poor decisions and stuff doing that. a few years ago and stuff. But going, just put my head down on I had a Gixxer 1000, the 2016 model that I rode out to Vegas and went saw Bon Jovi. Had a backpack on and just got underneath the visor and just hit it, and that was a good little quick blast out to Vegas. It was like a 4-hour trip, but I won't tell you how long it took me. So.
2 hours and 45 minutes, average speed of 140 at least. Yeah, because I've been there, so it's crazy riding out there in the desert, especially on a highway. You got just desert over here and desert over there, and you're looking as far as you can see, and you don't see nothing, no gas station, no people. It's a different feeling. It's in a way, it's kind of eerie in a way, right? Because you're like, man, if something happens, there might be 3 days before somebody even finds me or anything. It's absolutely. And then we have Lisa. Lisa says, "Hey, cuz you go."
Hey, my cousin Lisa. They're in England. They live in a little town called Rugby. That's where my mum was born. So, hey, cuz, good to see you guys. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely. I love the UK. I flew out there in August for the BSB race and absolutely fell in love with the place. The people are amazing. Food, the chips and fish, the fish and chips, man. And then the curry, it was smushy peas. Absolutely. And then, man, they have a beer out there that they only sell there in the UK, I think Spain, and one other spot's called, oh my God, I can't believe I just forgot the name of it.
Yeah.
Man, it's so good. It's like it's a lager, man. Mandry.
Okay.
My God, it was so good. So yeah, it's good times. And then Eva, we got Eva Morgan. She says, "We are watching and hearing you, Shane. Bloody good riding. Nan and Pop are so proud of you." Absolutely.
That's my Nana and my Pop. So they're only about maybe 10, 15 minutes from Phillip Island. They live in San Remo, which is just before you cross the bridge over to Phillip Island. They're always supporting my Pop. He was the one that was always with me at at the racetracks over in Australia, and I wish if we were trying to get him here for the Daytona 200, because that would be one place that he would absolutely love. He loves all the MotoGP, the World Superbikes, the BSB. He grew up riding bikes when he was I think his first bike was a Bonneville and stuff, and he used to be that crazy rider riding through England, and he used to have like the record from riding, I think, from Coventry to Rugby, and it would only take him like 10 minutes and stuff, but he had a couple of big accidents on the road and stuff, and hitting into other cars that were made of proper metal.
Right, proper steel, not the plastic they are these days.
Exactly, but he loves motorcycles, he loves anything mechanical, and he was always the one that was working on my bike, because he wouldn't allow me to touch things because I'd always over tighten things. I'm always that person, just always another twist, and then snap, I've broken something and stuff, or I've twisted out the thread, or broken the thread, so he would be my pit crew chief working on the bike, and it was nothing better than just coming in after a race and seeing him, with his thumbs up doing this. That was like my kind of like proud moments and stuff. So Pop, hopefully you get out to one of my Moto America races this year, and any of my family. I want you all out here to see what it's like. It's a different animal, and I'd love to have you out here. So
hey, we would love to have him out here. And dude, that speaks volume to you, because I'm a huge family person. Like of course I do a podcast, right? But the main reason why I do this podcast, and I tell everybody this before we actually do the podcast, is for my son. One day when I'm not here, can always go back and watch videos of me and smile and laugh and have a good time and talk what I love to do. So I'm huge in the family. Absolutely number one. Without the support system that I have, it would be hard for me to do this,
absolutely. Yeah. Look, like I said, like it is hard, because majority of all my family over in Australia, so it's good with social media these days and the technology that we have, to be able to keep close and connected that way. Like I was able to, just as soon as I got into that Parc Ferme for the technical inspection after the Daytona 200, Tracy had the Facebook Messenger up, and my mum was there, and she's sitting there crying, and it's just like, wow, and I was, getting choked up and emotional because my mum was on the other side of the pond, watching me race. Even though I might have only got 4 or 5 seconds of airtime for the whole duration of the Daytona 200, but it was it was a blessing in a way to know my family, were with me along the, for the ride, whether it was my mum, my 3 beautiful sisters, my nana and my pop, my auntie Vanda, my dad, they're all over there, but I know they've always, I've got them in my heart when I'm racing around the racetracks. I love it.
Absolutely. It's amazing. And I can't wait to meet everybody that Shane just said. When you guys come over here, absolutely, I can't wait to meet every single one of you. And I'm a hugger. I'm not. I do give high fives, but I'm a big hugger, man. I come on in, bring it on in.
That's it. We're all our huggers, and very we love the physical touch, side of things with our family and stuff. So it was. You'll definitely get a big hug off my mum, that's for sure.
Well, Mama, I'm looking forward to it. Just to let you know, absolutely. And then we have Kyle. He says, "Thanks for sticking with us through the good and the bad times over the years, Shane. I appreciate the shout outs."
Yeah, Kyle is he's part of the endurance team. He's absolute, he's one of the owners of Motor Drone Racing, and the way that they put the team together, we started off with, we do race the 08 Gixxer 600 in the middleweight class in the N2 Endurance Race Series. And these guys, they've got enough bikes to build, 3 or 4 of these Gixxer 600s, but they stick to it. They love it. They've always put their heart and soul and their blood, sweat, tears into the bikes. And we've had a little bit, success throughout the last 3 or 4 years with a few podiums, but they're one of these guys. They're both of the guys that they love the sport. They love being down there. They love being part of it. They love ripping the front end of the bike, 20 minutes before I'm about to go out and ride it, and we haven't tested it. It's just, I'll go to the bathroom, get ready for the race. It's been a couple of times where this happened, where something's happened and they've had to, rip out a whole front end and, or do something mechanical on the bike and stuff to, make it work for the endurance. And, but they love it. They love the sport. They're ex-racers as well. I won't say ex-act. I shouldn't have said ex, because I know that Ryan has got this fire in his belly to race again this year on his Ducati. But Kyle he's got a couple of twins, so he's I think his motorcycle racing opportunities is put on hold a little bit for the next couple of years. But he is unbelievable in the wet race. So if we ever have a wet endurance race, he is unbelievable. He's so quick. He just picks it up and he got us onto one of the podiums because of how quick he was in the wet in one race about 3 or 4 years ago. So
I love it, man. I love it. So big shout out to Kyle, man. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And then we got Lucas Uden. I hope I said that right. I hope I didn't murder that. He says, "Hey, Shane, this is Lucas and Joe. You did a fantastic job at the Daytona 200. Can't wait to meet up at the races."
Absolutely. Nice to meet you, Lucas.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Oh,
Lucas.
no, I know Lucas. Yes,
okay.
Yes, I know. I know all those guys. Joe, his father, and I think he actually just bought one of my my race suits, so he's going to be plodding around in my my old race suit. Lucas, Joe, you will probably have to soak that, wash it. We washed it only a few months ago and stuff. But please forgive me.
Throw them in the washer. Yeah, just throw them in the washer.
In the washer probably about 3 or 4 times before you put it on. So don't light a match.
Yeah, right. Don't let it match around them things. You won't have a suit for very long, I promise you.
No, that's it. And that's it. The race suits are so good these days. Yeah. Especially riding endurance, you're sweating. I only did 30 minutes in the practice sessions and the qualifying, and I come off and I'm absolutely, sweating from head to toe and stuff. And you need to maintain your suits, and 1X, they did an amazing job, designing and creating the suit that I wear now. And I'm very fortunate and blessed that I have a, fit off the shelf type, figure and stuff. So I don't have to have the custom fitment, but they do amazing custom suits and the design. They were able to work with me to present what what I wear on the racetracks with Moto America. So it's good fun.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I got a bunch of friends, obviously that race, and they all wear different brands. Some wear 1X, some wear Bison, some wear Revit, some wear Alpine Star. It's yeah, suits have absolutely come a long way in technology, right? It's a lot more than helmets have, right? Helmets get safer and safer, but they also get more aerodynamic. In a sense, I just hope they don't start putting wings on the helmets like they have in the motorcycles, right? Because I would probably smack somebody with that helmet. I'd be like, "What are you doing, man? Take that off of there."
Yeah. Although when I was down at Daytona, Bo and the guys at Arai Americas, they actually fitted this nice sort of like they called it like a stabilizer like type wing thing that sat on the back of the helmet. So especially up on the high banks and you're trying to get in under the visor, and it helps stabilize the neck. So they said try it out, and when I didn't try it either way, so I can't say what it felt like without it, but it was good. Like I felt comfortable up on the banking and stuff. At 170 mile an hour, I didn't have any worry about except your neck got sore.
Bobblehead is what I call it. Bobblehead. This bobblehead, yeah. And so HJC, I assume.
Arai.
Okay. Well, I got the new. I actually just got a new Arai helmet. It's in the other room, but when we end this, I'll bring it in and show it to you. It's a Corsa X Air, and then I got the HJC Red Bull edition, and it come with a diffuser, is what HJC calls it, on the back, right? So I put it on the back. It looks cool because it looks like the badass shark helmet, with the big old diffuser in the back. And I love it. Obviously, I'm not doing 190 mile an hour on the street, right? But the only thing that I noticed on my HJC is it makes this little whistle sound. If I hold my head at a certain position, it's like,
oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, "What is that?" Maybe my visor's not all the way down, but no, it's just I don't know.
Maybe you just need to get an Arai, and I've only ever worn Arais and stuff. The gentleman who actually used to look after my helmets, Marcus Holt, back in Australia, he owns. I don't know if you've actually seen one of my helmets, but he has this brand called the Grinning Dingo. And so that's on the bottom of my visor. It's like a sticker, the Grinning Dingo. And he was always the one that sort of like looked after my helmets and prepared my helmets and stuff before my races over in Australia. And but I've been wearing Arai since I've been riding, and they're the most comfortable, and they fit my head perfect. So I don't know if it's because of the shape of my head or, but they're comfortable and just I'll never cheap out on a real cheap helmet, because you just can't. You get one noggin, you only get one knock, and as soon as you hit the asphalt or if you come off, you should be replacing your helmets, because you don't want to mess around with those. So
yeah, 110%. So yeah, I'm like you. I grew up wearing Arai. I remember the first. Well, when I first bought my first motorcycle, they gave me a free HJC helmet. And shit, I was new. Like, I didn't know nothing about helmets, right? I was a huge Doug Chandler and, Scott Russell and all that fan. And I always loved Chandler's green and the purple and all that, right? And so I bought that helmet. It was the Arai RX-7RR at the time, I think. This is back in like 96, 97.
Yep.
And back then it was like $600.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, but back then I only made like $4 and something an hour, right? So I saved up for a hot minute for this helmet, and man, that was my baby. I still have it to this day. It's signed. It's up in my other room, signed by Doug Chandler. So, but since then, obviously a huge Arai fan. It's just like anything, right? Their helmets are kind of like girlfriends, man, like motorcycles. You see them like, man, that is a badass helmet. Like, I want to try it on, but then you go try it on, you take her out on a date, you just don't fit very well, right? There's something about it you just don't like. It's not me, but it's sweet, right? Yeah. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? So, yeah, but I do like HJC too as well, and AGV. It's just, yeah, man. Now, I mean, helmets are $2,000, $1,500, for the top of the line.
Yeah.
Even that Arai helmet, it's still $1,100. Well, after tax is more than that, so it's but it's worth it. Like you said, you got one head, and I'm a firm believer. Like even when I ride on the street, I don't ever put my helmet on the tank. I don't ever hang it off the foot peg. Hang it on the mirror. You see people, man, they'll drop their helmets and they laugh about it. I'm like, bro, you just ruined your helmet. It's just a scratch. I'm like, no, dude, that's not a scratch. That helmet, when that thing hit the ground, the materials on the inside, Kevlar or whatever it is, actually broke up to absorb that impact. Absolutely. Right. So that means if you hit that head again on that spot, you're done. Like I take that serious with my helmets. Like I carry them in. I don't set them down. If I'm going out to eat and I ride, I set it on the bench. I don't put it on the table. Sit right beside me. I don't play around with your equipment. I absolutely you do. So we have another question for you from my man Craigo out there in the UK, man. Thank you guys so much for watching. He says, with family in rugby, has Shane ever ridden Donington, and would he do Cadwell if he had the chance?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I haven't actually ridden any tracks over in the UK, so would love to get to Cadwell Park or some of the places where the MotoGP rides. They're just Silverstone, like that. That would be pretty, like one of those checklists and stuff. Yeah, so I haven't, but would love to one day.
Yeah, dude. So next time I go over there, I'm definitely want to ride Cadwell. Dude, it's such a. I can talk about Cadwell all day. I love that track, dude. It's absolutely awesome. So, and then we got Ryan Kraft, dude. What is up? He says radiator mount bolts.
Radiator.
What's the story behind that?
I think he's just giving me another item that I have to order for the.
Okay.
Radiator.
I like it.
He's just giving me probably an update on what extra parts that I have to order before Atlanta and stuff. I've got to order some crusher washers. We had to order a last minute part with a one of the Rev 3 throttles and stuff. For
the cam. Was it a different cam? Yeah.
Radiator mount bolts. I'm having a blank if he's referencing something else. Other radiator mount bolts. I don't know. You might have to elaborate there, or just send me a text, Ryan, and I'll.
Or just say it on here. Yeah, I'll put it out there for sure. And then Tate says, Tate again, dude, what is up? He said, thank goodness for FaceTime.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then Kyle again says, Ryan Kraft, never forget that. LOL.
Radiator.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then Chasey Brown says, could not be more proud to be part of your team.
Yeah, she was my personal assistant over the weekend, so she had to put up with a lot of my crap. I'm very structured, very organized, OCD, perfectionist. Like I have to have things my way, and she had to help me sort of get into the suit and had to put up with my attitude, and so. Thank you, Tracy, and she cooks some amazing meals while we're at the track. So she feeds our belly.
Good stuff. Well, hopefully I'll be able to meet them because I'll be in at Road Atlanta, so I'm gonna meet you, and so hopefully I'll meet all them people too, which I'm looking absolutely excited to do. That's one thing I love to do is actually have a guest on here, right? And then physically go meet him at the track. It's like because now we're friends, we're mates, right? And we see each other, it's like, mate, what is up, right? And you'll see because my energy's high. So when I'm at the track, it's even higher. So I'm literally running around going, let's go, dude. Absolutely, man. I can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then Vanda Morgan says, who is that?
That's my auntie. It's all my family. There's probably more of my family and everyone over in Australia watching this podcast than anywhere around. So
I love it.
She's my auntie. She was a very, very talented equestrian and eventer. Rode horses and actually got selected for the Olympic squad and stuff in 2000. But unfortunately, she wasn't able to compete because of her horse. Kind of didn't really make it. He had sore knees and stuff, so he couldn't go on to the Olympic Games. But yeah, Auntie Vanda, thanks for all your love and support. I miss you. I love you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, she says, so very proud of you, Shane. Can't wait to get over to the U.S. and watch you race. Absolutely. Okay. And then we got Jake Brown. He says, tried the Alpine. I guess he might be referring to the Alpine helmet.
Yeah,
maybe is what Jake's referring to. No, I have not, Jake, but I have seen a lot about the helmet. The Alpine Star helmet is absolutely a gorgeous helmet, and I do want to get my hands on one. It's just like anything else, right? Shane knows this. Everybody that's ever bought a leather suit, a helmet, whatever it is, just solely off looks, and you physically start riding in it, right? You'll be like, this is just not a right fit, right? So helmets is one of those things you got to physically go to the store and try it on, and not just try it on for a second. I usually sit there for like 10-15 minutes, and to actually see how the pressure is on my head, even though I know it's going to break in. And dude, there's so much that goes to a proper fitted helmet. Again, not a lot of people are educated on that. They just buy a helmet and it's doing this down the road and it gets airlift on it. It's like, dude, because it's twice as big.
And that was the same. The very first helmet I went into, I tried one of the shoeies on, and it didn't fit my head the way, like, I don't know, but as soon as I put on a Arai, like it fit perfect. So it fits my noggin quite perfectly.
Perfect. Yeah, I hear you, man. It's that's what it is. Jake Brown, yes, caught some of the helmet talk. Yeah, I have not, Jake. Have you actually had the Alpine Star helmet, or do you actually personally own one? If you do, let us know. Yeah, how it suits you compared to whatever helmet you had before you got the Alpine, whether it was HJC or. But I've actually owned a Shark helmet too. I can't remember the model of it. This was years ago, man, and I bought it because it was cool. But the main reason why I bought it, dude, to be honest with you, Shane, is because the visor was so easy to. I mean, you literally hit the button and the visor popped off. Right? It was super simple. It was so yeah. I tried to, but again, it was one of those helmets that I didn't enjoy, and I ended up selling it within like 2 weeks of even owning it. I probably only wore it like 3 times. I played with the visor on the helmet, sitting watching TV more than I wore the helmet, just because it was one of those. It's just like jeans. You go out there and you put on jeans or tennis shoes or whatever. It's
whatever's comfortable.
Absolutely. And then Craig O'Hara says, my race lid saved my life, was knocked out for 45 minutes after being ran over at Donington after a crash, and had bled on the brain and muscles in the right arm flattened. Back on the bike and roof, 2 podiums 12 weeks later. Dude, proper mega.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's dude, helmet maintenance is like every time I come back and ride, I completely wipe it down, take out the cheek pads, the headliner, especially if it's a hot day and I sweat. I take all that out, let it air dry, throw it in the washing machine. After a season, I usually buy the new helmet in the cheek pads, the inner liner, and replace all that stuff, because you don't realize how, even though you sweat, you'll put the new liners in and it's like your helmet smells like a brand new helmet again, right? You go put it on before, you're like, oh my God.
Exactly.
This is
Oh yeah. Now I know about the radiator bolts. I cross-threaded again. I shouldn't be around tools. I'm good at directing and around the pits on what to do. And it was the night before the race and stuff in one of our endurance rounds. I think it was at Carolina Motorsport Park and stuff. And they were changing the radiator out, and I cross-threaded by utilizing a impact drill to drive them in. So don't put a tool in my hand and we should be fine. So sorry, team. It's a story. It's a story that we brought to the table. So.
No wrenches in your hand, Shane. No, absolutely not. So listen, with that being said, man, do you have any race rituals you do before you get like on the bike? Like, do you meditate for 10 minutes? Do you listen to certain type of music? Right boot on before your left boot? Wear your socks inside out? Anything like that?
Nothing like really. I used to be really like that, like which shoe went on, which, like I used to play a sport. I used to be an overseas cricket professional back in my early 20s. That's what my big passion was when I was growing up and stuff. So I had very OCD things about what I would do, even before I was batting, before I was bowling and stuff. But with racing, there's nothing that really sort of like, it's like I think I put my left boot on first. That's just crazy. But one thing I definitely will always do before no matter what call it is and stuff, I will always get down on my knees by my bike and I'll pray to God and stuff, and making sure he's putting his guardian angels and wings of protection around me and my bike and the fellow racers, and ultimately, just praying that I can make him proud. No matter what I finish in the race and stuff, I just want to make him proud with everything that I do. So I wouldn't be here without him. So I always send my praises and my prayers up to God before I throw my leg over the bike. So that's a must do. for me. So
Absolutely beautiful. I love it, man. Absolutely love it. And so Eve says, Pop said, definitely keep the tools out of his hands. We'll make it next time.
there you go. Well, you have to come over and keep those tools out of my hand. You can't be having me wrench on the bike.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it. So did you ever plan on going back to Australia, or are you gonna stay here in the United States?
At the moment, like I love my job. I actually became a citizen about 6 months ago.
Oh,
so,
congratulations.
Yeah, I went through the whole citizenship process and did that. And I have like I love my job. I love my life. I know my family, even though that they are, on the other side of the world, they all are always with me. I try to get back when I can. I went back home last year, and that was the first time in 3.5 years I was able to get back because of that thing called COVID. Anyone heard of that? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't able to get home for 3.5 years, but I surprised my family back in December last year, and no one knew that I was coming home except for my sister, who I planned it. And we surprised my mum. If you all want to see that video, you can probably watch it, on my Instagram or on my Facebook. It was a very, very special emotional moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was over, I think, 11 or 1,200 days that we hadn't actually seen each other and been all in the same room together. And I just showed up, rocked up at like a vineyard in Tasmania, and to see my family, that was very, very emotional and an amazing day. So I don't get back as often as I'd like to, but this year might be a little bit tough with my plan with racing and stuff. But all my family are always with me in my heart and stuff. All my sisters, my nieces, my nephews. I've still got to meet my new little nephew Mason. He was born in middle of last year and stuff, so I still have to get back home to meet my son and see. It's hard when I go back. They're this high one time, and then I go back there, 5 foot, 6 foot tall, and you're like, what? The time's just flying. So
yeah,
I'm crazy Uncle Shane and stuff. So it's whenever I'm with my nieces and nephews, I'm always pushing them beyond the limits and stuff of what my sisters and their parents like and stuff, because it's just in my blood, have that adrenaline junkie and crazy Uncle Shane. So he's always going to do it. So.
I love it. Crazy Uncle Shane, man. That's what you should put on the back of your leathers. Crazy Shane. Crazy Uncle Shane. I love it, man. So,
I won't say what my sister calls me and stuff, so that's
drop a comment in below, sister, and let me know what you call him. Absolutely. That's awesome. So the flight due to Australia, so the flight to the UK, obviously it ain't nothing. It's like 7 hours or something like that. What's the flight to Australia?
It takes about a full day by the time you get to the airport and stuff. It took me last time because I got held up in LA for like 8 or 9 hours, and then I got held up in Sydney. It took me like 50 hours to get home because of the delays. And but normally it's from where I'm in Nashville, it's a 4-hour flight, and then it's generally about a 15-hour flight from LA to. So by the time you have layovers and getting to the airport, go through security, it takes about a full day. So.
Yeah. So you would fly because now you live in Tennessee, so you'd probably fly to DC, wouldn't you? Washington.
I have done. I think that's where I've. Oh no, actually, I flew out of from Nashville to LA to.
Okay.
Then on the way back, I think I came. No, I didn't come through DC. I came through
Charlotte.
Dallas.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, we come through that way over the Pacific Ocean.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, that's cool, man. They did. That's awesome, man. Dude, 2024 is going to be a proper mega season for you. It's going to be absolutely. And so, how many endurance races are you planning on doing this year too, as well?
I planned on, we've looked at the schedule. I don't think any of them fall in line with the Moto America. Like the Moto America is just going to be a race by race. I have, 3 more that I've got lined up with Atlanta, Barber, and Mid Ohio. But at the end of the day, as you can all appreciate, it comes down to funding. The logistic. Even going out west. I work full time. I have a full time job that since I'm here in a town called Kingsland, Georgia. until I'm actually waiting until Roebling this weekend. So instead of going all the way back home to Nashville, I've been very fortunate and blessed to be able to work from my computer this week in the hotel, just recovering and stuff. So so I work full time. So hopefully, depends on funds. I'd love to do the Moto America full season. I know I could compete well. Knowing based on sort of like my times at Atlanta and Barber, and once we get to Mid-Ohio, I would love, like, again, a bucket list item is to try to get to Coda. That would be unbelievable. And Laguna, they are some amazing tracks that I've always seen and watched and loved to, wanted to race one day. But 2024, I'm just going to do it. I'm racing down at Roebling this weekend, and then I'll start setting up. Hopefully, if everything goes well, and Ryan's going to be watching, holding his breath, making sure nothing happens to the bike so we can get to Atlanta and stuff. That's just going to be his. He's going to be watching, live timing from Ohio, where he's going to be almost having a heart attack. So just relax, Ryan. We'll get it done. But and then Atlanta, and then we'll go on to hopefully Barber, and then just with the endurance race team. I think there's the 5 rounds all around from May to September, October. So I'll be doing that, and then just plan year by year. So
do you guys race at VIR? Do any endurance racing at VIR?
No.
I'd meet you there because I'm only like an hour and 20 minutes from VIR.
I think this year it's lined up for Atlanta, CMP, the Carolina Motorsports Park, Roebling, Barber, and where am I missing? We're not racing at Summit this year. There's 5. I don't know where I'm missing it. Pittsburgh. I'm missing Pittsburgh. Yeah. So they're the 5 rounds. So they're good rounds. Summit's a good racetrack and stuff as well.
I don't think Carolina Motorsports Park's but like 2 hours from me. So when we get off here, you have to give me some of those dates, man, because I'd love to come out there and we do some live podcasts and cook out and
Sounds good.
Have a good time for sure. But listen, dude, we've been at this for an hour and like 7 minutes. I
was looking at the time. You said that the time will fly, and I'm like,
I told you, dude, I will. So we'll definitely do a part 2 of this. I'd love to have the guests back on here again. But I want to get away from all the bike talk. I want to talk what Shane does away from all the racing and all that good stuff, right? So obviously, I already know you're a family man like me. First question I want to ask you, man, is who is your favorite Australian motorcycle racer?
I didn't really sort of like grow up with watching it, a lot. I remember the very first GP I ever watched was at Phillip Island. Me, my dad, and my family would going to go. I think it was in 1989 or 1990. We were going to go down and watch the race, but something happened. We didn't. We watched it from the TV, and it was Wayne Gardner ended up winning the race. His bottom fairing was about to pop up, and the commentators were thinking, like if it falls off, he could have a major accident, and it was all suspense for the last 10-15 laps. So that was the first MotoGP I watched when Wayne Gardner won it. Then obviously through the 90s, Mick Doohan was unbelievable and unstoppable, and I don't know, like Jack Miller, he's unbelievable.
Miller, absolutely.
I just hope he has a good season. He needs a good season. You see his potential, and he's a MotoGP rider. I shouldn't even say potential. He's got the the credits there. He just needs to deliver, and just really needs to put the bike on the podium consistently. So.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Miller fan. Matter of fact, when I met him, because I go to Texas every year for the MotoGP race, and I get the pit pass, so I can get back and actually meet the guys. And I remember I seen him last year, and it wasn't a bunch of us back there because I think it was Friday. I think it was a Friday, and I got there. It's probably 10, maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. He had walked out, and I'm like, "It's Thriller, dude!" And I got everybody standing around me going, "It's Thriller Miller, dude!" I got it on video. I'm screaming and hooping and hollering. He turns around and laughs and smiles. His fiance at the time, Ruby, because they wasn't married at the time.
Yeah.
She was over there looking at me, just laughing at me, right?
Right.
Just, it was absolutely amazing.
We've had some good motorcycle, races with,
Legends.
Miller and Stoner, and like it's
the Go Show.
Oh yeah, yep.
Which
yep.
I have his
Mladen.
helmet right here.
Yep.
Matt Mladen. Yeah, absolute man. Legends. Remy Gardner. I mean, the list goes on and on. It really does. So do you have a favorite racer in MotoGP right now?
I love seeing Martinator, like he's just unbelievable, but I just love it, when we were talking about the other day and stuff, like what's your Netflix? I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch TV. MotoGP is and that's where like I'm disappointed I haven't watched it yet, because I'm literally watching it live. And obviously with the big weekend with the Daytona 200, I wasn't able to sit back and chill out and just watch the the MotoGP. And I go through the Moto3, I go through the Moto2, I watch all the qualifying and everything and stuff. That's me, and Martinator is unbelievable, but it's such entertainment, because you just never know what's going to happen. Pecco is absolutely Mr. Consistent. I do have a soft spot, and I think everyone did. When he came onto it, I was thinking, this guy is unbelievable, but a bag accident is going to take him down. That was Marquez, and always knew his potential, but at the same time, Valentino was kind of like my favorite. So they had they were clashing, and between the him and Jorge Lorenzo and all that sort of stuff. So it was just there was always I wasn't really a big fan of Marc Marquez, but seeing everything he's gone through over the last the trials and tribulation, the accidents, the trying to make Honda work when it wasn't, like he was the only person to be able to ride that on Honda, the way Mark did. And I kind of have that soft spot. I want him to get back on the podium. I want him, to just smash this, this Ducati a new one. Like he just, he's one of those champions where like hopefully he can. He's 9-time world champion and stuff. Hopefully he can, or eight-time world champion. Hopefully he can knock Rossi off the pedestal, but just through everything that he's had to suffer over the last few years and stuff. So he's got a soft spot in my heart. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a huge Rossi fan, right? Like I named my son Hayden Rossi after Nicky Hayden and Valentino Rossi. So and after Rossi retired, it was like, of course, we had rivals. So I really didn't like Jorge Lorenzo. I didn't really dislike him. I was such a huge Rossi fan. I always wanted him to win. Anybody was against him, I'm on his team, right? But I still had much respect for all the riders, right? And like you said, when Lorenzo come out, because I'm real big in like Greek mythology and the Egyptian mythology and like all that, the pyramids, I just think all that stuff's super cool, right? And when Lorenzo come out with that little Spartan on his helmet, I was like, okay, I this much I like you now. It's like, then and
the opposite, the red boot, and like just the opposite to Rossi and stuff, So it was that rivalry within the own same race team, but. You need to have that. You need to have that competitive nature, within any sport and stuff, and like racing, like it's competitive these days. That the machinery that they have with the technology, the computers, the electronics, the engines, like the horsepower that they're producing. It's just like. You just never know who's going to win that race. Whether it's the sprint races, whether it's the MotoGP, full race. It's good fun action to watch.
Absolutely, it is. So you don't watch it? Do you watch World Superbike, British Superbike?
Not really. No. Like when you ask him what I do in my spare time, like I just I'm quite private. I keep to myself, and I work out. Like I pretty much I have my little. I have a cat. She's actually traveling. She's been traveling with me down. She came down to Daytona. Her name's Lily, so she's just resting in the hotel room right now and stuff while we're on this call. But other than that, I work out really hard. I work out 2 times a day when I'm home. I go to a training called F45, and that's in Brentwood, Tennessee. And they're one of the people that have actually supported and sponsored me over the last few years. But I'm very into fitness and looking after my health and my well-being and making sure, like I might not be the fastest, but I know, competitively, I'm probably going to be one of the fittest out on the track and stuff, just due to my, my consistency, and being able to work out hard, train hard, look after my body, fueling my body to make sure that, hopefully I can, live, a little while, so.
Yeah, dude, I totally changed my diet. It's been last year. Man, I weighed almost 260 pounds, a 40 waist. I'm down to a 34 waist. I weigh like 202, 203.
Yeah.
I still got a little chubby in my cheek and still got a little bit of a belly, but nothing like I did, right? But a lot of that was just down to changing my diet, bro.
Oh,
absolutely. People don't understand. So I got really bad ADHD and I don't take medicine. I don't take Ritalin. Shit, I got a headache. Even after my wrist surgery, I don't take none of those pain pills. Like I don't do any of that. I'd rather be all natural. I'm like you in a lot of that sense.
Yeah.
But, of course, dude, who don't like Chick-fil-A, right? Or a Taco Bell every once in a while. But I cut all that bullshit out, right? Don't get me wrong. I still might go by there and get me a breakfast sandwich or something, but it's not like every day, right? So I started making my own homemade salad dressings, cooking more stuff at home. I've always been big into fruits and vegetables. So I've been trying to not be a complete vegetarian, but not eat a whole bunch of meat too on top of that, right? Because let's just be honest, who don't love a good steak, right? This guy right here, and everybody else watching, right? But I eat like I love spinach and fish. So I eat a lot of fish and stuff like that. And but just by doing that and just exercising, nothing on your level, but 50, 70 push-ups a day, do my breathing exercises, dude, all that helps out so much. I had so much more energy. I felt better, more self-confident. It goes a long way. It really does. And once you start seeing the results, Shane, I guess really what I'm trying to say is I started listening to my body. Which is very important, right? So let's say if you eat something and all of a sudden your nose is stopped up because there's something in that food that your body's having a reaction to that's probably not good. If you keep eating it, right? I mean, you don't ever know. So I started being more in tune with myself, right? And then I figure out what my body likes, not necessarily what my mouth likes, but what my body likes. And that's very important.
Oh, absolutely. With, God created the body, like he created the body is so perfect. And I always say people when they say, oh, why do you believe in God? It's just like, you only have to look at the human body. It's so perfectly made, constructed and stuff, it's easy to believe that it was created than, building up over, millions and millions of organisms over, years and years and years and stuff, the brain, the immune system, the way that the heart, the reproductive system, it's too perfect not to think that there is a creator. So when you go back to, looking after and listening out to your body, like I was always good with the working out side of things. I could, work out all day, every day. But once a few years ago, dialed into like the understanding the fuel that your body needs in terms of the macronutrients, the proteins, the fats, the carbs. Your body needs that. People turn around and say, oh, yeah, I'm just going to cut carbs and stuff. And, your body needs it. Otherwise it's just going to choke up and, request fats and eat the fats or vice versa. So, once I know when I'm in my peak training period and stuff, I dial in my macros to a certain portion. And if I meet those macros and I track it and I track all my food, I'm not much of a cooker. I love food. the team will attest that I love cookies. I love ice cream. I love eating steak. When I'm at the race meets, I'm eating, because I've done everything up until that point to make sure that my body's fully prepared for the race meets and stuff. So fueling the body is important, and you need to make sure that, because we have so much access, we only have to drive down the street and you've got 14 different types of fast food outlets. And it's just like, okay, I'll grab a bite here, I'll grab a bite there. But, we've got to look after our bodies. And that's why I like to eat more natural stuff. I don't want to put anything into my body that I know could potentially affect me.
Harm you. Yeah. Dude, I tell you a funny story. Like I just stopped eating tortillas just recently, right?
Oh yeah.
Even when I go to Mexican, I love Mexican food, right? I go to a Mexican restaurant and I order like carne asada tacos or whatever,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
dude, I take all this stuff out of the shells and I just eat
Yeah.
it on the bed of rice with the cheese dip, right? And this is why people might laugh at this, but if you don't believe me, you can go do it yourself. Go to any grocery store you want. I don't care if you buy Mission soft tortillas, Ortega, whatever brand your soft tortilla is, right? Leave them out. I had this pack of tortillas at my job, and we had moved to our building, so we've been there a little bit over a year, like a year and 4 months. And I had these there, right? And I was watching TikTok, and they were talking about McDonald's hamburgers leave them out for a period of time, and I come across for like the tortillas are the same way.
Yep.
I was like, well, I'm gonna put it to the test. I went there. $3 for a bag of tortillas. Literally, a year and 4 months later, there was no mold, and they were just as soft as they
Really?
were in the grocery store. And I was like, you know what? I'm so done with flour tortillas. I will never ever eat another flour tortilla in my life. I mean, imagine how bad that is for your body, man. Trying to process that bullshit
Exactly.
now.
If
It's
no, you have to look after your body. We've only got one temple, and we need to look after it and stuff. So
yeah. So I just after that anyway. So listen, I love audiobooks, right? Like I don't read a lot because if I do, I end up falling asleep. But obviously I listen to podcasts, so the audiobooks to me is just the best way to do it. The last two that I listened to that were really good was Matthew McConaughey, Greenlight. Man, what a book. It was such a great book. And then the other one, man, I can't remember the name of the guy. Damn it. He was a race car driver that got involved in selling drugs to fund his race car driving adventure, right? But he made it to like the 500 Indy and was winning.
Oh, wow.
Randy Lanier.
Okay.
Bro, it's a book, dude. You read it and you're like, one more chapter. I'm gonna listen to one more chapter. Next thing you know, it's 3:00 in the morning. You're like, I'm gonna be tired tomorrow, right? So do you listen to any books or do you read?
No, I don't read. I've read. I know, like I've read a few books through high school and stuff like that, but I'm not much of a reader. Like reading puts me to sleep a little bit. I probably need to listen to audiobooks, but I have read the most important book. I've read the Bible, back to front. That was one thing I did maybe probably 6 or 7 years ago. I committed to the Bible in 1 year app, and I read through through the Bible. Go through the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Psalm, the Proverbs, that's the best book out there. But I probably need to, especially when I need to chill out, relax, or on long drives, just put on audiobooks. But I'll definitely listen to that one that you were talking about with the
dude.
driver.
Oh, bro, I'm telling you, you'd be like, dude, this dude's nuts. Like it takes you on this. It's like a really good movie, right? You're just glued to it. You're like, I can't wait to see what happens, and what you think. What you envision kind of is going to happen don't happen. You're like, oh snap, it took a turn. I wasn't even expecting that. I got to listen to one more, right? Yeah. So
absolutely.
That's me right there. So but another good one too, obviously, since I like to read books, back when I was reading a lot, I read pretty much every motorcycle racing biography that's ever been out, right? But my favorite one is John Hopkins, Leathered. And the reason why is because he didn't hold anything back. Like he talked about smoking weed and riding a MotoGP bike, right? You don't, most of the audio books that you read, especially of racers or car racers, it's all about how they got into it, their daddy, and then their whole transition up to racing. And there's very few really personal stuff, trials and tribulations. They'll tell you some, but they're not maybe as honest as Hopkins was, and that's what it just grabs you and pulls you in, and you're like, I had no idea. Like you could even get away with that, right? Like, it's just absolutely crazy. So, as far as music, Shane, what does Shane listen to?
Music wise, like my favorite group is the Chainsmokers. Love the Chainsmokers.
Nice.
And then 3 or 4 times, a couple of times in Vegas, one in LA, and one time in Nashville. I don't know, like I just love anything. Like I obviously I drive a lot, from Nashville to Savannah to Daytona, Pittsburgh, Ohio, like so. I don't really, like I just zone out and I just drive, and I don't know, like sometimes then I'll just put on, but then I like some Australian music and stuff, in excess and AC/DC and stuff like that. But
All that good stuff.
Akadaka, but Powderfinger. But then, yeah, the Killers are one of my favorite bands. Blink 182, I love it. I grew up in that era and stuff with the punk rock music and stuff. So,
Red Hot Chili Peppers, damn right, yeah.
When I do have my music, but I don't play it all the time. But every now and then, I'm just driving in the car, I'll whack it on. So
yeah, it's funny because even though I listen to a lot of podcasts and I love my music and my audiobooks, there is times that I'll get in the car and I don't want to listen to anything. I just want to be nice and quiet. I just want to, just shut the world out. I don't care. I don't want to talk. I don't want to. Well, just let me just enjoy me, right? Because everybody needs that. Just you, whether it's 10 minutes a day. And I highly recommend everybody that's listening to this or that's going to listen to it, go back and whatever, take some time for yourself, right? Yeah. Absolutely. It's like, I asked you that question. How do you mentally prepare, for a race? Do you have any rituals you do? So me, before our podcast, I always I have a conversation with myself in the mirror, right? A lot of that's got to do with, man, my anxiety's kicking in, my adrenaline. It's the journey sitting down in this chair, right? But once I see you, all that goes away. It's like it's game time, right? It's just like same thing, putting your helmet on, putting the visor down. It's on. But the build up to it, that's my way. I do some breathing and have a conversation, man. You're gonna kill it, dude. Pin the gas. Let's go. I got Shane bags on. We're gonna have such a really good time. Let's go. It's really good time. Absolutely. And it's a funny story about that. Really good time. I got that from my good mate Dave Neal out in the UK. He has a podcast right here, shirts hanging up, called Off Track Podcast. He had Davey Todd on, and Davey Todd was talking about out there riding his bike and just riding mad wheelies everywhere, right? Yeah. And his team were like, dude, you can't do that. You're gonna blow the motor up because it don't have a pump that pumps the oil back up, right? So Davey Todd said, man, I was out there just having a really good time. So as he was telling the story, he said, the next time I go out there, I'd ride a couple wheelies and then I'd do a couple endos to throw all the oil back up on the cylinder to make my team happy. And then I'd go back on and have another really good time. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. So that's where that whole really good time come from. Yeah, it's
really Wednesday.
Happy Willie Wednesday, all that good stuff, man. Yeah, it's who don't smile at somebody riding a wheelie? Every time you see somebody riding a wheelie, you just smile. You're like, yeah, that's proper right there. I love it. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Probably Star Wars. Yeah.
What Star Wars character would you be, Shane?
I don't know, maybe Luke. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. I definitely wouldn't be on the dark side. I'm a goody two shoes. I stick to do the right thing most of the time.
So you'd be Obi-Wan Kenobi for sure.
Obi-Wan, yeah,
Obi-Wan. Yeah, I love it, dude. I love it. Obviously, we talked about food. I love to cook. You said you don't like to cook, but you love to eat, right? So, have you ever heard of Chef Eats?
I have, yeah. We actually had some of them because I think they sponsor the Motor Drone racing team, so they got them down for the Daytona 200. I actually, believe it or not, I had one today. It was the shrimp and brown rice and asparagus. So it was actually pretty good. So I tried that, and I think that's part of the plan with within the paddock. They're going to get a few of the chef eats and stuff over the next course of the year and stuff. I actually eat when I'm in Nashville a thing called Clean Eats. That's where I eat. That's where I get all my meals and stuff, and they're dialed into the macros and nutrients, the proteins, the carbs, the fats and stuff. So that helps me to stay on point. To make sure that I'm preparing for the races good. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. The reason why I said that because Chef Eats, Jeff Servin, he's a good buddy of mine that owns Chef Eats, and magical food. I had the honor. He actually sent me some. I need to order some. I've been meaning to order some because, man, it's so good, right? And it's healthy for me.
Yeah,
I can just throw it in the microwave, and then I ain't got to worry about going to a slice of pizza here because who don't love pizza, right? I love pizza.
I had the salmon yesterday, and then I had there was a couple of leftover from Daytona, so I brought it here, put it in the fridge here, and I had the shrimp. We call them prawns back home in Australia. So we had the shrimp today, and I think it was like the salmon yesterday. So they're pretty good. So great work, Jeff. Keep them up, brother.
Absolutely, dude. Absolute legend, man. So and I love spicy food, right? So
Oh yeah.
I love Indian food and Thai food. But I like the real hot stuff too. I get in the mood to where I'm like, how hot's that hot sauce? Like it's 3 million Scoville. I said, let me get it. Bring it over here, right?
No,
And I
you can
just
have all that. I don't want anything to do with the hot and spicy stuff.
man, it's listen, Shane, it's how can I explain this? Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely hot. The next day or two, it's absolutely brutal, but it's the journey, right? So listen, this is what I'm trying to say. It's listen, you reach a point to where it's so hot, it's like you reach this euphoria. It's hard to explain. It's like you don't feel the heat no more. It's like an ice bath, right?
Okay.
I'm big into ice bath. So,
Yeah.
you get in an ice bath. The whole point is you get your breathing under control. Once you get your breathing under control, guess what? The water is really not that cold no more. It's like this warmthness kind of comes over you, right? It's calmness. Same thing with super hot food, right? It's so hot. It's like it's just this intense. Except for this one time, I went to an Indian restaurant.
Okay.
And the Indian guy, I've been there several times, and I usually get a number 3 spice because it's good, right? But I was in the mood. I want the hottest stuff you got, and I don't want the stuff you give everybody else. I want your guy in the back to make this special hot sauce. And he's like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Bring it to me." I got about 6 bites in this stuff and didn't even realize it. And all of a sudden, I was like, "Something's terribly wrong." Like yeah, I couldn't even finish my meal. It was absolutely brutal.
Wow.
Yeah, it was miserable.
Would you do it
didn't
again?
like it. Yeah, probably. I ain't gonna, yeah, probably. It's one of those things, man. It's I don't know. It's either you really like spicy food or you don't, right?
You can have all the spicy foods.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I got you, brother. I'm doing a chip challenge with a couple of my Moto America buddies.
Okay.
In Atlanta. But I told him, he's like, I want to do it on Friday. And I was like, no, bro, you're racing on the weekend. We're going to do it on a Sunday after the race is over. Great idea. Absolutely. So, celebrity crush, Shane. Do you have a celebrity crush?
Man, I'm boring. I don't think I do. Like, I just obviously there's some attractive women out there and celebrities. That was funny because I had a big crush on. I was going through Instagram the other day. I think it was yesterday, and I came across Kylie Minogue. Do you remember Kylie Minogue and stuff? The famous singer. So she was probably one of my first crushes when.
Can I get something?
Yeah. Let me get done, Bubba.
No, but I have $4 in a PlayStation, so can I buy this $4 thing?
Yes.
That is brilliant.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
Say good. He come in here, asked me if he spends $4 on his PlayStation. Yes. Yes, you can.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So yeah, that was my boy Rossi right there. I was telling you about. Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. No,
yeah, he's awesome.
So yeah, she was like my first. She was on this television soap opera called Neighbours back when I was like a little tacker and stuff. Back in the early '80s, and she was like my very first celebrity crush. So it was just funny that you say that because I scrolled across her Instagram or something yesterday. And I was like, oh wow, I haven't thought about Kylie Minogue for like 20 or 30 years.
Right. Yeah.
But no, not really. No, there's obviously some very very attractive and beautiful people out there and stuff, but I'm quite boring like that.
Yeah, listen, everybody's beautiful in their own way. I firmly believe that. Absolutely. And this is a motto I heard, dude, and I love it. It's we're not strangers, we're just friends that haven't met yet. And I love that saying. I think that's such an awesome saying, right? It just shows us how down to earth humans can really be and how much we can care for one another, right? Because there's times you meet somebody and you're like, man, I feel like I know this guy. Like I absolutely know this guy from somewhere, and we never even met, right? There's a reason for that. There's something, maybe it was a past life where we were friends or whatever it was, right? You never know. But I always thought that was awesome. So let me ask you this, Shane. What advice would you give your younger self right now?
Oh wow. I don't know like if it's a curse or a blessing, but like I'm very the worst criticism. Like I criticize myself. I'm a perfectionist in nature, so relax, chill out. Like just don't let things bother you. And I think that came from sort of like learning biblical scripture and stuff. Like put your worries aside, hand it to Him and stuff. And I don't think growing up and being that perfectionist and like always wanting to be the best and try to be the best, and you can't do it. Like you can't. You can try to be. You just wake up every day and try to be the best person you can. And try to improve every day. I think that would be my advice. Just to relax a little bit and just don't be too tight.
Dude, listen, I'm hard on myself too. I am. I'm probably the hardest person on me anybody's ever been. It's just it's I've always been like that. I'm not even sure why, but but I think it's a good thing because it also drives you, right? And
I think that's what I said. It's either a blessing or a curse because it's always wanted me to, I've always been very, very competitive, especially, with cricket, when I was playing football. Like I've always had that competitive spur and wanted to be, the best person I can. But now it's just like, okay, now I just want to make one person proud, and that's God. And then obviously, my mama, I want to make my mum proud, and I know that she's looking and watching now. But I love you, mama.
I love you too, mama. Absolutely. If my mama's watching, I love you, mama. Absolutely. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Like I said, I'm huge in the family, so it's absolutely, it's without a good family support system, I would be absolutely lost, right?
Absolutely.
It'd be easy to get lost in the amongst of the chaos as this world is. So So I was going to ask you, man, any other sports you follow besides road racing? So I'm a big soccer nerd. Football, the real football, not the American handball, right?
Yeah.
Not the real soccer, the real football. I'm a huge fan of football. Always have been. I play FIFA on the PlayStation.
Okay.
It's man, football's such an awesome sport, right? So are you into any other sports?
Yeah, I love me baseball a little bit. I get into the Boston Red Sox a little bit. I love Aussie rules football. I'm not too sure if you're all familiar with that. We call it AFL. I support a team called Collingwood Football Club. They won the premiership last year, which go Magpies. So I love my Aussie rules football. But being over here in the States, I don't get to watch it too much. Like once I sort of like finished my professional cricket career type thing, like I kind of just moved away from it. I don't even watch, the World Cup and cricket being like probably the second biggest sport in the world after, I would, and me devoting so much energy and effort and time and traveling around the world to play cricket. Like it was something I put in, and I don't really watch it anymore. Like I'm just Moto GP, Moto racing. Yeah, that's what I live for and stuff. So I watch, soccer every now and then. I've been to a couple of, NFL football games. My buddy Ricky, he was over from Australia last year, and we went to a couple of, games and stuff. We went to see the Cowboys, and he loves all the NFL and stuff. But I'll watch it if it's on. But it's not big in my to-do list. It's all about MotoGP and motorcycle racing. So.
That's me to a T. Absolutely. Like I watched the Super Bowl. And that's it. Pretty much.
That's me. I watched one big game.
And even then, I'm not even really watching it. Like, because me and my buddy usually we'll do a cookout and have people over. So we're in the kitchen cooking, and I'll glance over because I really don't care who wins. Now, if road racing was on, I wouldn't be cooking in the kitchen. I'd be glued to the TV, be like, "Let's go, yes, let's go." It'd be like, "Go home, Simcoe. You watch that at your house, right?" Yeah, okay.
I tried to connect my USB cable from my computer to the hotel TV the other day, and it wasn't working. So I was like, maybe I need to call up the hotel and say, "Give me a new TV because this ain't working because I want to transfer my MotoGP to the big screen."
Right? Yeah. No, that's good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, let me ask you this, man. If you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, famous, non-famous, who would they be? Who would you bring to the dinner table?
First of all, Jesus. That's absolutely Who else? Man, that's should have asked me these questions so I can have a little bit of time to think about it. I just have to invite my mama. Do you say famous people?
It could be anybody. It could be your mom. It could be, dude. It could be Tom Cruise. It could be Prince. It could be anybody you want. Who would you have at your dinner table?
Yeah, I'd have my mama. I'd love to have dinner with my mama. And then obviously, and Jesus, and who else? I've got to pick an actor or something. I don't know. Just it'll be a MotoGP racer or something like that. I think someone with history, maybe Valentino Rossi or something, like that. That'd be pretty cool. Just to sit and have some Italian food with him. That'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely, it would. Right? Who wouldn't want to sit and chat it up with Valentino Rossi? Yeah, it'd be absolutely magical, man. So, are you a beer or a wine drinker?
Aussie guy that doesn't really drink beer. So yeah, that's
no Fosters. What? No, I'm just joking. Yeah, right.
When I was playing cricket over in the UK, like I was big. I got into cider. I love drinking cider quite a fair bit. Well, I don't drink a lot, but when I do have a couple of drinks here and there and stuff, I'll drink cider. I enjoy the whiskey. I love, being in Tennessee and stuff, like whiskey or even, bourbon. So they're my kind of go-to drinks and stuff. But Kyle will have to take credit for this and stuff. He introduced me to like my after-race drink is the Crown Royal, the peach flavor with some lemonade. That just like is refreshing. It's so Kyle, thank you very much for introducing me to that. He actually after the Daytona, we changed it up. We didn't have the Crown Royal, so he had this Jim Beam Red Stag or something.
Yep, Red Stag. Yep.
Oh, that was nice. Jim Beam and that Red Stag, whatever, with the lemonade, and again, refreshing, sweet. Yeah, kind of drink. So.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, listen, bro, we're an hour and 40 into this, man. It's been an absolute honor, and I had so much fun. But before we get off here, and when we end this, I need you to stay on with me for a minute. But before we get off here, Shane, I need you to give a big shout out where people can find you on social media and how people can support Shane in your racing.
I just, they can find me on my Instagram handle. It's Maggsy _29, MAGGSY _29. You can follow me on Facebook, which is Shane Boyd Mags. That's my middle name. But yeah, that's throughout the, I always like to support the people that support me. Like I'm a privateer. Everything comes out of my hip pocket and stuff to be able to actually pay and finance the, Daytona was very, very expensive to get on the grid, but I've had, like I said, Ryan Kraft, he has spent hundreds and hundreds of hours working on that bike, so he is my brother from another mother, he is absolute family. He's, done everything to make that possible, make my dream to be able to get onto the Moto America grid, alive. So thanks, Ryan, for out there. But then there's a lot of the, the people that support me, like I was very fortunate and blessed to have Wiseco Performance Products. They jumped on board this year, and, they are, one of my major sponsors and stuff. So NPS engines, racing engines with Will. He's up in Niagara. Oh my goodness, he built a solid engine. Like if you need any engine work and stuff like that, really honestly consider NPS racing engines, because he built a solid engine and it helped me get through the Daytona with and I can't wait to do some sprint races on it and stuff, because it's a U-Butte engine. So thanks, Will. Obviously Dunlop, and I also had Fred from New Maya Environmental Services. They helped support me, this year with some sponsorship and F45 training that helps me with my fitness and everything. So there are a lot. I could keep on running. 1X, Epic Superbike Designs, Cometic Gasket, Recluse, Former, Ghetto Customs, Fox Feather Designs, the Grinning Dingo, Vortex. There are so many people that have actually helped me to put this program together. Even though it's only going to be hopefully 3 or 4 Moto America events, but potentially more. Depending on how my results come up, I'm hoping to push up the grid a lot further at Atlanta and at Barber. So. But like I said, as a privateer, it becomes difficult. But at the end of the day, we choose this sport, so we love this sport. We're passionate about the sport, but I love to always hand back to the people who financially support me, or just provide services, provide products, and provide their assistance. I'm pretty biased, but I think I got one of the prettiest bikes on the grid, purely fact to Justin at Epic Superbike Designs. He did a great design. 1X did an amazing design with the suit, and to have Wiseco Performance products, that's a huge, support this year and stuff, and try and get them back into the Moto America paddock and stuff. They were back there in the, in the 80s and 90s, I believe, and stuff, but to have their presence, their brand, with the Pistons and the race-winning brands that they present and stuff. It's reach out to them if you need anything. So, but overall, I'm stoked to be a part of this program. Chris, you're absolutely a gentleman. Thank you very much for giving me the invite and spending time with. I can't believe it's been an hour and 45 minutes and stuff. It said time was flown, but. We'll see what 2024 presents for, Shane Maggs and our racing team. I've got incredible racing family and those sponsors that support me through this. So hopefully we can, do well. That's but ultimately make God proud at the end of the day. That's what I want to do. So.
Absolutely. And I'm a fan. I'm gonna be cheering for you absolutely at the paddock, and I'm sure everybody that's listening to this is a fan now too, which is absolutely amazing. Before I get off here, I got to give a couple of my shout outs too as well.
Yep.
First one I want to get out is my man Jake Marsh and Pete Marsh, the whole RD racing team out there in British Superbikes. They're racing the GPT class. They're a big supporter of Pin to Gas podcast. Thank you guys so much. Nothing but much love for you guys. Another big shout out to the Clothing Kings. You can go to theclothingkings.co.uk and order all your Pin to Gas merch, right? Not you, Shane, but everybody that's listening. So big shout out to him at the Clothing Kings. I want to give another shout out to my man Jillian Carrera. He races in the British Talent Cup. Number 40. He has a club, Club 40. He's got a couple spots left, so do me a favor, go help support this show, man. He's super fast, super talented, and is going to be a future champion. Also, I forgot to mention my man Jake Marsh, Club 45. He's still got some spots too. If you guys want to, join up for the club, get in touch with me. I'll put you out there, and to everybody else. Big shout out to my man Chef Eats, Jeff, serving some of the best meals you can get on the planet at your local racetrack. You don't even have to be at the racetrack. You just order some and take them to work or eat them at home. I mean, they're absolutely delicious. And there's all kinds of different meals he can prep. You want high protein or whatever it is, he can custom whatever you want. Absolutely amazing. Big shout out to my man Braden Elliott. We talked about him a little bit, right? Absolute proper guy. My man Jackson Blackman, man, I had him on. He is absolutely amazing. Man. So listen, and again, thank you for everybody that watches and supports Pin to Gas. Nothing but this. Watch, check this out. Nothing but much love to everybody out there. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This episode will be out tomorrow on Spotify, iHeart, everywhere but Apple. I'm not on Apple right now. I'm working on it. I know I always say that, but I'll get there eventually. But thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed this, Shane. What an absolute honor. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for getting out there. Thanks for the support. Thanks for all my family and stuff, dialing in from all across the world and stuff, England, Australia, obviously my racing family here. It's extremely blessed to have every single one of you as a part of my life and my world. So I love it.
Yep. And I can't wait to meet all you guys in Road Atlanta. And I'm super excited. If you recognize me and I'm walking through the paddock, just come up to me and pull me to the side. Say, hey, what's going on? We'll get a picture. We'll have a conversation.
Absolutely.
We'll grab a beer. We'll do all that good stuff. But yes, listen, thank you guys so much. And I will see you tomorrow because I have a podcast tomorrow. So
there we go.
Let's go. Dude, would you think